you know, it's one thing to not support someone, but it's also another thing to actually sabotage them. And I hear from people, especially people that consider themselves food addicts, like the lady in your story about the chips that, can't have any non-compliant food in the house. And it's not so much that their husband and children will not support them. They'll actually make it harder for them and purposely like bring in these things. Why do people do that? And what's the workaround?
Well, I think there's a whole lot of psychology about that, but one of the issues is when you're doing something to help yourself and to get healthy, it tends to make other people uncomfortable because it makes them realize what they're not doing, right? That we had a friend tell us that it's hard for other couples to be around my husband and me because he's like, because you guys are so happy and so in sync, it makes me look at my significant other and go, why don't you do that? Why aren't you like that, right? Whether it's your relationships or your health or whatever it is, when someone's really dialing it in and working hard and trying to live better, then if you're not doing that, you might kind of feel insecure, uncomfortable looking at it and going, man, I don't have that. I'm not doing that. So it's easier to get the other person to be wrong or to give in than it is to change yourself. It's one of the reasons why vegans find people are so quick to criticize them, right? That why is it that if someone's eating a burger and fries, nobody bothers them, but if I'm eating a salad, someone's going to go, why are you doing that? And look, you stepped on the grass and that hurt plants and this and that, and they start trying to poke holes in their lives. Why? Because if you can make the person wrong, you can dismiss what they're doing, and then you can keep doing what you're doing, right? So if you can make the other person wrong, easy. I don't have to listen to them. They're doing stuff wrong. That's why my son wrote his book, right? The comeback book. That's like, nope, here's all the reasons it's right. But the other side of it is, if I can get them to give in and do what I'm doing, then I don't need to change, right? They're eating it too. Look, it's unsustainable. They're not even doing it and I'm fine, right? So I think that there's a lot of what's happening there is the person's not intending to be sabotaging and unsupportive, at least not consciously, but unconsciously, they would feel a lot more comfortable if you would just get back to eating, chicken and fries with the rest of us, rather than you eating that healthy salad and me feeling bad about myself now that I know I'm eating unhealthy and I don't have the willpower you do. I don't have the motivation you do, right? So it's a lot easier to bring people back down to what you're doing than to encourage and support them and to let them elevate you, right? Because nobody wants to change and people don't want to give up the things they're addicted to. They don't want to. Change is difficult, whether it's relationships or whether it's food. It's difficult to change. It's easier to kind of put your blinders on and stay the same. It's why people don't change unless things become too painful or painful enough, right? People don't come to me because they're like, ooh, I think green smoothies sound a lot better than a bagel and cream cheese, right? They do it because their illness, their health has gotten painful enough that it's worth it to give up those things they're addicted to try something better, right? People don't leave bad relationships until the negativity and abuse becomes so bad that it's worth going through the pain of divorce and all of the things that come with it, right? That we need, humans in general, we need it to be painful enough to change, right? And so we don't want anyone shining a light on what's wrong in our lives when we're not ready to change. So I think that's the biggest reason. And again, I don't think it's a conscious attack, but it just makes people feel more comfortable with themselves. If she's willing to eat cake, then I can eat cake and everything's fine. But if she won't eat cake, well, it is a lot of oil and sugar and dairy and, oh man, and I do have high cholesterol and I shouldn't be eating this. And man, I just wanted to enjoy cake. Why did she do this to me? Right? So it's a lot. And you got to be strong. You got to be willing to do what's right for you, and to also let them know, you know what you're doing right now is making this harder for me. And I'm working so hard on myself. I need your support. I need cheerleading. I need encouragement. I don't want you to encourage me to do something that's against my goals for myself.